up now, darling, you're glowing faint. My technicolor view is turning gray. And twist the antenna around. Is there something wrong? There's nothing but white noise now. The signal's gone. Gone, gone, gone. I sit alone now, the screen is cracked. I hit the site again, but the picture won't come back. I tried to wait it out, but I fell asleep near dawn. I guess I won't know how it ends. The signal's gone. Gone, gone, gone. Gone, gone, gone. The pain is peeling from the walls. Time makes fools of us all. Where did I go wrong? Where did I go
What is going on, everybody? And welcome to episode numero uno of the Glick Show. I'm Glick. I put the Glick in Glick Show. Duh. Let's go. So, if you're not already, it's the same social medias as the other podcast, Nonsensical Nonsense. Go ahead and check us out. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Don't forget to join us live Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays on YouTube and Twitch at 6 p.m. I haven't locked down a day and time yet for when this show is going to happen, but it'll happen probably every week. It might bounce around on days and stuff like that, but I'm going to try to do this every week, maybe every other week at most, depending upon what happens. But you can also listen to Nonsensical Nonsense and the Glick Show, all on Spotify, all at Nonsensical Nonsense Podcast. You know the routine. Give us a follow, give us a like, and if you'd be so kind, drop a share. Let other people know, and don't forget to turn on your notifications. That way you know what we do, when we do, how we do. As I said, welcome everybody. This is the first episode of Nonsensical of the Glick Show. It'll be just me. Maybe I'll have guests on down the line, depending upon what kind of subjects and whatnot I get into. Kind of maybe get people that are more qualified to speak on things than I am. I'm just gonna be giving my 2 cents, my opinion, and my thoughts on things. But the nonsensical nonsense isn't going anywhere. Tony's not going anywhere. Jeff's not going anywhere. Stan's not going anywhere. Don't worry about that. Some of you guys might be a little worried, but don't worry. The guys aren't going anywhere. We're not. We have no Yoko Ono in the mix, and we're not breaking up. Plus, if we did break up, we all know that I'm the Justin Timberlake of this group, and you know how that goes. But yeah, so don't worry about that. This is just a little experiment thing that a lot of people have been asking for. A lot of people have been wanting to see me alone on my own again, kind of doing my thing. Now, granted, it'll be a little bit different from what people know me being on my own from TikTok or Periscope or anything else. I would like to actually come in here with some kind of content, some kind of plan, some kind of something. So it'll change. My brain is 100% ADHD fueled, and I'm like a squirrel chasing nuts out there half the time with the way my brain is constantly going 900 miles an hour, much like my actual being. I'm always on the move. I'm always on the go, or doing something, or into something, or whatever. But with that, if it makes you feel better, you Stan and Jeff are like Belle Biv DeVoe. Mildly successful on your own, but not as successful as the group. But tonight I do want to jump into kind of a heavy subject. Let's just get the heavy shit out of the way, right off the bat, shall we? It is June. It is Men's Mental Health Month or Awareness Month or what the hell? So I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about that. Obviously, with the world that we live in, mental health for both men, women, and children of all ages and races and whatnot has become a major concern, a major issue. You read in the news every single day, it seems like some school shooting, and then it's like, oh well, they had this problem and that problem and everything else. And I understand that. And I want to focus on men tonight. Now, as I said, I am no expert. I don't claim to be an expert. These are just simply my thoughts and my opinions. I'm not saying anything I say is not meant to be taken as the word of Jesus, so to say. But I know that in the last several years, men's mental health has been on an absolute just fucking decline. And the suicide rate is like through the fucking roof. I think something like what was it? Something like 4 times the amount of men commit suicide every year than any other than women or any other sex or age group. It's usually like middle-aged men, right around my age, late 30s, early 40s. But you have to understand that most men in my age demographic. Hey, Amber, what's going? Hey, holy shit, what's going on, Amber? Don? Yeah, as of 2021, uh, it was approximately 4 times higher than the rate among females. Males make up 50% of the population, but nearly 80% of the suicides. And these are actual numbers. These are actual numbers. I just had to find the right graphs that I pulled up. Um, but a lot of it, like I said, has to do because of, you know, we grew up in a generation, and now I'm speaking solely for my age group and my age bracket of men. We grew up in a generation and we grew up in an era that you weren't allowed to talk about your feelings. You couldn't show any kind of emotional distress or anything like that because it was a sign of weakness, or you were a pussy, or anything like that. I mean, even now, um, some, you still, fuck, I deal with anxiety and depression. I've dealt with it most of my life, and because of that, I keep my circle very tight. I don't have many friends because I don't feel like I can rely on a lot of people. So, and that's just how I was brought up. Um, a lot of men are afraid to reach out for help because they're afraid to show any kind of weakness. We were taught growing up we're supposed to be there to provide and be strong and be protecting and all that stuff. So, if we show an ounce of weakness, or somebody will question our manhood, or maybe our partner will look down on us or something like that. And Lord knows I've struggled with that shit my damn self. That's why I have a tendency to keep things bottled up. I used to go to therapy, and my therapist used to tell me that I was like a pressure cooker, the way I dealt with things. And basically, you guys know what pressure cookers are. And if you don't know what pressure cookers are, you might be really young. But they essentially just build up so much heat and moisture and whatnot until they almost damn near just poof explode, which is what happened, which is what would happen for me. I would just deal with stuff on my own and bury it and bury it and bury it and bury it until I'd snap, which led to violent outbursts, issues with alcoholism. I still drink today, but I was a raging alcoholic for a long time. That's how I dealt with my problems. That's how I dealt with my issues. And I know a lot of men out there do the same, and that's not healthy either. Because alcohol is it's a downer, from my understanding. I believe it's a downer. So, when you're already feeling like shit and you're already dealing with shit, we'll just add on to it and just get fucking hammered. Yeah, you feel great for a little while until you wake up the next morning and those problems are still there. And then you feel like you have nobody to talk to, or you don't want to talk to anybody. Um, Again, like I said, I'm going to speak a lot on personal things, and my opinion on things. So this is more personal experience for me. I've spent the majority of my life feeling like I was alone, um, and I've developed a loner mentality, a lone wolf mentality, to where even the guys on the on our other show, on our main show, have brought it up and said it. You know, um, that I it's something I'm never gonna be able to do away with or get away from. It's just who I am. Um it's in my DNA, I guess. I don't know. It's in my again, I'm not the smartest cat in the world. I'm just kind of talking. But 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 as I've gotten older, I've learned healthier ways to deal with my issues, and I don't let things bottle up and reach a breaking point to where I lose control and I lose my shit anymore. Speaking about losing my shit, there we go. I had that glare behind me and it was driving me crazy. Sorry. Now I do have a tendency to lose my cool from time to time, but that's usually because I've been pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, and people think that they can get away with pushing a grizzly bear, and then they want to act like the victim when the grizzly bear pushes back. But as I was, sorry, I get a little long-winded and I go on rants, but I always circle back around to my point. So there's that that's one part of the stigma for men dealing with any kind of mental issues. Whether anxiety, depression, even problems in the bed, are all signs of that. But we can't help how we were brought up, but we can raise a new generation and teach that generation that there's nothing wrong with sharing your feelings. There's nothing wrong with talking things out if you're feeling a certain type of way. We can break that cycle, which is even to a sense for some people, it's strong for them to do because it's so ingrained into their head and the way that they were brought up that I'm not going to raise no pussies. My sons are going to be men, and it's going to hurt them in the long run. So we can break that cycle. I think that's going to be a phenomenal thing for men. As if we already don't have enough problems as it is being men in this world today, outside of our mental struggles and our mental issues. We also have to deal with all the He-Man woman haters out there that we fucking breathe in their general direction. All of a sudden, why are they trying to rape me? Shut up. But the other thing, and about that with that, I got this little clip, and I'm sure most of us have already seen it, but Chris Rock did a special, and he kind of nailed it right on the fucking head. And it goes back to with us being taught and brought up that we're supposed to be there to provide and protect and take care of our families, our wives, our girlfriends, whatever the case may be. But Chris Rock kind of hit something really right on the head. I'm gonna play it for you guys. It's just a real quick 30 seconds.
Only women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. Women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. A man is only loved under the condition that he provides something.
And that's very true in this society, especially nowadays. You see a lot of women asking the question, "What can he do for me?" When at the same time, they're not doing shit to provide anything for a relationship. I've always believed in 50-50, and it's not financial or anything like that. Just being on the same page, because there's a lot of men who get that feeling that they're only loved or cared about when they're providing or they're giving something or they're doing something for somebody else, and it's a kick in the dick. I don't know if there's any men in the chatters box. If there is, feel free to chime in. I got a question for you guys, or you can hit us up on social media if you watch the replay. I got a question for you guys. I'm going to try to get this clean so that I can actually clip this. But I got a question for you, man. How many times in a week do you take the long way home? Or when you do get home, you sit out in your car for 5 or 10 minutes, just getting your bearings right, getting your head right, and just trying to find a second of peace and quiet, not peace and quiet from your kids or your wife or your job, but peace and quiet from your brain before you walk back into the chaos and their brain gets turned on and it goes 900 miles an hour and you're worried about bills, groceries, maybe your car's acting up, whatever. But you just take that long way home, or you sit in your driveway for an extra 5 or 10 minutes before you go home. Some of us, I mean, I'm guilty of it when I used to be married. I don't do it much these days anymore because I'm in a pretty good fucking place these days. I'm actually really happy. Um, Life's going pretty well, but I would take the long way home from work. There were some days that I'd pull into my parking spot and I would sit out there for 5 or 10 minutes, but I would take the long way home and I would cry or I would just scream, yelling, just not scream, but not like you know what I mean, just yell, sit in my parking spot or my in my driveway and just yell or get it out, just to kind of let that day's frustration out of my system before I went inside so that I could put on a mask, a facade, so to say, um, so that my kids weren't worried about anything, or my now ex-wife, she didn't see the weight of the world that I carried on my shoulders every day, worrying about the normal day-to-day and mundane shit. um like I said, I can thankfully say that I don't go down those roads anymore today. If I take the long way home from work, it's because I just want to go for a drive. It's nice and it's sunny and the windows are down. you know. Um, but that's the great thing about the show that we have created in Nonsensical Nonsense. That's been a really big therapy, not only for myself, but I know Jeff has admitted to it. I don't know how Tony. Um, he's kind of hinted around the same way, but that's kind of become our outlet, as well as I finally got a good life now. So, but we carry the weight of the world on our shoulders, and if you don't have a partner that's going to be there for you and understand, or at least be willing to understand and try to be there for you, it makes it that much harder. And um and again, that goes back to one of the reasons why I've kept my circle so tight and so small. I don't like the feeling of thinking that I can count or rely on people, because I've been burnt too many times and I've been shown way too many times that you cannot count or rely on people in this world. Unfortunately, most people you come across anymore, they're in it for themselves, and what what can they get out of a relationship, or what can they get out of a friendship? And then once they get whatever it is they need, and then they move on to their next yeah, we'll just say victim, fuck it, we don't care about feelings. So, but yeah, I mean, that was another way that I coped, man. I would take the long way home. I would sit in my driveway for 5-10 minutes when I got home, just to collect my shit. But you know I keep losing my train of thought because I've got a million things going through my head at once right now as we speak. Um, but yeah, like I said, be not just men, but people in general, be weary and be cautious of the people that you put in your circle, the people that you call your friends, because at the end of the day, they could actually wind up doing more damage and more harm to your psyche, to your mental stability, than anything else. Um, you know, I've said it before that, if a snake bites you once, it's going to bite you twice. It's in their nature. Uh, and they shed their skin all day long, but they're still the same damn snake that bit your ass 5 minutes ago. They're going to bite you again. And then you can't be mad at that snake. But one of the other things that I've noticed as of lately, especially with this with social media, and this is kind of the other, and again, I don't know that there's any proof to this or any credence to this or anything else. This is more just my personal feeling. Um, with social media and your TikToks and your clappers and your other various forms of Instagrams and Facebooks and stuff like that, everybody has a platform to speak their opinion and speak their mind, whichever. Do you are all welcome to it. But I think the other thing that's hurting the whole men's mental health and creating a stigma in this new generation, it's become trendy for people to, and it's a way for them to get likes and follows and comments. Um, you see people who, or people ain't never dealt with any type of shit in their life or anything like that. Yet every time you turn around, they're constantly posting the most depressing fucking bullshit in the world on social media. Yeah, I'm feeling that today, man. Life's tough, life's hard. Blah, 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 blah. But they're doing it for the clicks and the likes, and that makes it hard because I struggled for years myself personally to come out and to talk about my issues and my struggles and things that I've been through. And then you see all these idiots on social media just blasting all over social media just to get clicks and likes and follows. And that kind of makes me want to myself, and again, I'm speaking from personal, for me, it kind of makes me want to step back and not talk about it so much because I don't want to be lumped into a group of idiots who are just doing it for likes or follows or whatever, just to be trendy, just because it's a fad now to claim that you deal with mental health issues just to get likes and follows. I've seen it. I've seen it in my timeline. I can't tell you how many times I've seen it in my personal timeline, and I'm like, really, like, get the fuck over yourself. Stop it. You know, you ain't been through shit that it's depression and anxiety and PTSD and blah blah blah. It's like, shut up. You ain't been through shit to be talking about shit. So that kind of made me step back and made me hesitate to just like not put my stuff out there or not talk to anybody because I didn't want people to look at me. And I don't know if there's any other people, and this is kind of just a general, this isn't just about men, this is just in general. I don't know if anybody else has been in that situation and felt like that before. Because it sucks. I reached a point in my life where I was finally starting to come out. I was finally starting to try to get help. But then I took 3 steps forward, but wound up taking 10 steps back because, I didn't want people to look at me and go, oh, he's got that look at me mentality. He wants everybody to give him attention, feel bad for him, look at him. Because I'm not that guy. I don't need attention. I say that, and I host a podcast, and now I do this, and I do various other things, but I don't need that kind of attention. I don't need pity from anybody, and I don't need fake people telling me, don't you worry, pal. Tomorrow will be a better day. You keep your chin up. You're doing good. You just go ahead and you let God take the weight. Shut up. I don't need that stupid shit. The other day I was scrolling through TikTok and I seen in my feed what was a pretty good post about single dads going through the motions of battling for custody of their kids and the wear and tear that it takes on them, not just physically, but emotionally, and that these dads are killing themselves. This older generation of men, we're killing ourselves left and right every day. And then in the middle of the freaking post, he had put himself into it. He was showing pictures of all these Chester and from Lincoln Park and Jason David Frank, the original Green Ranger, and Robin Williams, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then in the middle of it, it shows him taking his fucking shirt off. Like, the guy, the person who created it, and it was just like, what was the point in that? Like, there was no need for that. So you like tried to make this serious emotional post, and in the middle of it, you take your shirt off just for what? Like, oh my god, people kill me. Like, damn. What up, fucker? Like, damn, you really killed a really good post and a really good message just to try to create some kind of weird, like, mental health awareness thirst trap, some goofy shit. I don't even know what the hell was going on. But that's the other thing that kills me, and I think is creating in this new generation a stigma, almost not even a stigma, but almost turning men's mental health into a fucking joke, to the point where cats don't want to get help. They don't want to reach out for help because you see all this goofy ass shit all over social media. And again, like I said, I'm no expert. I'm just a guy that's just ranting into a microphone. You don't have to take anything I say to any means, or you don't have to take anything I say to heart or anything like that, because it is what it is, Tony D. Tony's not here, but I get yelled at for that. He yells at me every time I say that phrase. It is what it is, motherfucker. Oh, excuse me. But you know, we've talked on our show about going through things and dealing with things, and you know, I'm the type person, I've got a big heart and I've got big ears. So you know, anybody whoever needs anything, or you're going through some shit, or you know, something's going on, we got the chatters box open. We've had conversations, Tony and I have, on our show, and it was just him and I. And we've had the chatters box open. Drink, keep calm and drink bourbon. I don't have bourbon. I just have beer. I have my dumbass butt on. But you know, we've opened up the chatters box, and we've had a few guys in there, and I mean, they just really just just opened up like you would not believe. But you know, I'm always that type of guy. Anytime anybody needs anything, feel free to reach out. Feel free to ask. You know, I'm not going to shame anybody for going through some shit and dealing with some shit, because, like I said, Lord knows I've been there. I've struggled with depression and anxiety and shit like that pretty much my entire fucking life. And it's not, I'm against some medical methods. I won't take drugs. You're not gonna zombify me. You're not going to give me some kind of mood or mind altering drugs to make me feel better. I'll find different alternatives to get my mind right and get my head right. But I always got a shoulder, and I've always got an ear for anybody. Anytime, any place. You know, we've been there on the show. I've been there outside of the show for, I don't know. I can't even tell you how many people. Why do I disappoint you? And to the ladies, I say, be better. Take care of your men, damn it. If you got a good man at home, take care of him. And I don't mean take care of him financially or in the bedroom. I mean take care of him mentally. Guys, I think it's safe to say that most guys will confirm that if you see your man start fidgeting and zoning out, and just kind of lost, you don't need to say anything. You can just cuddle up with him. You can just, he won't ask for it, and he won't say that he wants you to. but you can just cuddle up beside him, even if you guys are watching TV or if you're passing in the hallway or in the kitchen or something. Give him a big hug. Trust me, it'll make him feel a million times better. Yeah, I absolutely a plug from the base from the Matrix. Brian said, "Unplug from the Matrix and bask in nature for the weekend." Absolutely, I love. Uh, that's what I try to do for Sundays, and that's something that's helped me personally, mentally. My Sundays, I unplug, man. I try not to be on social media. I try not to worry about podcasts. I don't worry about work stuff. I just unplug for the day. I don't talk to anybody. It's nothing personal. Um, like I don't talk to anybody on my phone. I usually try to spend the day with my girlfriend or the kids if they're here, or we might go hang out with friends or something like that. But the social media thing, absolutely get away from it. But no, like I said, ladies, you don't have to say anything. You just have to, and like I said, I'm not talking financially or sexually when I say take care of your man or your sons, for that matter too. Um, don't have sex with your son unless you're from Alabama or West Virginia. Then I guess it's okay. I don't know the rules. I'm not from either place, but it seems like it's okay. But no, even your sons, those of you who have older sons, teenagers and shit that might be going through some stuff, you see them start to zone out, maybe getting a little bit fidgety, maybe being a little bit more quiet or being a little bit more quiet than usual. Just like I said, you can give them a hug, snuggle up with them. Just let them know you're there. That goes a very, very long way. Trust me. A lot of guys, for the most part, there are guys out. I'm going to refrain. I'm going to take that back. There are guys out there, believe it or not, that are very tentative and pay attention to their partners, their girlfriends, their wives' moods, and they see the shifts, and they do try to be tentative to it. But unfortunately, and I can only speak on what I've seen. I've seen guy friends that are just going through some shit, and their wife couldn't be any wiser. They could, or girlfriend could give two fucks less about them. Or look, I don't, man. It's nothing personal, but I unplug and I reset for the next week on Sundays. That's my mental break. That's my mental health day, I guess you could say. I unplug and I reset for the following day or for the following week. This motherfucker. No, but and and sometimes guys just want to just yell, scream, yell, go break something, go drink beer just to get that release. It doesn't mean they're doing anything wrong. They're not trying to hurt themselves. They're not trying to hurt anybody else. They just need to let some of that steam out, let some of that pressure go. I told you guys a long time ago, man. Sundays are my day. I'll do the football show during the football season if I'm available and I'm not doing anything. But outside of that, Sundays are my day. I just kind of chill with the family, chill with my girlfriend, whatever. But I know. I just kind of poo-pooed on a lot of guys by saying, "Ladies, take care of your man." And the first thing it wasn't the first thing I said was, "Give him a blowjob, show him your boobies." And to those of you out there faking, if you're just seeking attention, there's so many other things you could do. mental health is not a joke. It's not something to play around with. It's not something to joke around with or something to get clicks on social media. I see that shit, and as a guy who's gone through it and been through it and come out the other side, I'd be lying if I didn't say I never thought about eating a bullet or something like that, because I have. But that's a real kick in the fucking stomach for anybody who's been through it and gone through it and made it out and still struggles from time to time or on a daily basis, to see you fucking idiots posing out there just to get sympathy or to get followers and likes for no reason. It's sickening, and it's very frustrating. And I have to try to keep my mouth shut when I see it, because some of these assholes are fragile fucking souls. And I'm not saying they're fragile because of their mental state. I'm saying they're fragile because they're of their generation, how old they are, when they grew up. Making a grilled cheese sandwich would help. I like grilled cheese sandwiches. I used to do that too, Brian. I would go for long drives. That was always like my kind of my mental break. Is I'll just find me I'd be out on a backcountry road somewhere, crank up the stereo in my car, and just fucking cruise for hours. And wherever I ended up, man, I ended up. There's been times where I'm just got the music blaring and I'm just driving, and the next thing I know, I'm almost 2 hours away from home. Because I just drive, and where I go is where where I go, and how I got there I have no fucking idea, because I have to GPS my ass out of there. But it's a nice little break. It's a good mental break to kind of clear your mind and get shit right. And unplugging, as Brian keeps saying, unplug from the matrix. Absolutely. Unplug from the matrix, ladies and gentlemen. This goes to everybody. Put the social media away. Put your phones away. Watch a damn movie with your family. Watch a movie with your significant other. Go for a drive. Go swimming. I mean, shit, a couple weekends ago, Nikki and I spent the entire weekend at the fucking beach, and it was great. It was great, man. The kids were at their mom's, and we went for a few hours on Saturday, and then we went and got something to eat after we got done on our way home, and then we got up Sunday, and she was like, I don't want to sit here around the house. I said, yeah, neither do I. I'm kind of bored. And she said, we went back to the beach. We were just at the beach. We were still not doing anything. We were just laying out in the sun or in the water, one of the two. But it was great because we got to unplug. We got to just hit that reset button, which everybody needs to do. And a lot of people are afraid to. Cooking for some people, Brian, I know you like to cook. Cooking for some people, that's a mental escape. Ladies, and here's another little bit of piece of advice. I'm going to go ahead and pull the curtain back. And I know it's been said a million times, a million different ways, but it hasn't been bluntly said. If your man is playing video games, there are worse fucking things in the world that he could be doing. I have been a gamer pretty much my entire life. Now, I am not a 24/7 gamer. I am not I'm going to put video games above anything else gamer. But if your man comes home and he's working 40 plus hours a week, and he comes home and he helps you around the house, and he helps you cook dinner, and he helps you with the kids or whatever else, and if he comes and at the end of the night, if he wants to sit down and play a video game for an hour or two, he's not ignoring you. He's not being a worthless piece of shit. He is escaping from reality. I play video games to escape and to turn my brain off, because it never stops. There ain't nothing wrong with your man playing video games for an hour or so at the end of the night, after everything is done around the house and the kids are in bed and everybody's everybody's taken care of. That don't mean you gotta go and tell all your friends about how much of a piece of shit he is. You know, if he's taking care of the house, he's taking care of you. Now, if that's all he does, that's a different story. I play games, bro. I bet you do. What's going on, man? From time to time, from time to time, Brian said I drive to Galveston and sit on the rocks and feel the waves crash at my feet with a 6-pack of root beer to unwind for an hour. I used to do that when I lived down in Charleston, man. I'd go to the beach and just sit there. The water has always been my happy place. The water puts me at ease. Being on the water, being around the water, it puts my mind at ease. It relaxes my entire psyche, my body. Uh, when I'm on the water or around the water, I can just feel all the tension and everything just drain out of my body. It's an amazing feeling. I've been there several times. I miss Charleston. I do, but sacrifices had to be made. There was time I can't even count how many times I'd get up in the middle of the night and drive down to the Battery, downtown Charleston when I lived down there, and it was the Battery was right down at the water, and I would just walk along the walkway. It wasn't necessarily a pier, but I would walk down to the pier and walk out on the pier. It'd be 1-2 o'clock in the morning, and I wouldn't be able to sleep, and I would just go down to the Battery, go downtown Charleston, and walk along the water just to kind of clear my head and and try to get my mind right a little bit, I guess you could say. So, but yeah, I mean, everybody has their outlet. And you shouldn't be ashamed. Like I said, don't. Unless I brought up the video gaming thing, I enjoy gaming. I always have. I always will. But it's not something that takes over. Excuse me. Takes over my life. There's been several times where Nikki was like, "Why don't you play your game? I know you want to." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know, but we're watching TV, and I don't want to ignore you or whatever." And she's like, "I'm fine. I'm sitting right here on the couch with you, reading my books or whatever. Go ahead and play your game." We were talking about that last night. Um, I'm hesitant to play games because of previous relationships and how people talk to me and whatnot about playing games. And I wasn't even doing it a lot at the time. I miss those games. I miss the Atari 2600, man. So I'm kind of gun shy to play now. Usually I try to wait if she's not here, like if she's at work or if the kids aren't here or whatever. It's usually when I'm home alone that I play, but just a little bit of an escape, a little bit of an outlet, just a way for us to escape reality for a little bit. um and guys, gentlemen, do not be afraid to talk to your friends, man. If you're feeling some sort of way, you're feeling like out of sorts. Well, believe it or not, yes, most of the time, and I bring up the show Nonsensical Nonsense. The three of us are on there, and we break each other's balls, man. We really break each other's balls a lot on that show. But there's been times before the show, after the show, where the three of us have talked about different things. Jeff's called me in the middle of the night. And him and I have been on the phone for hours talking because he's been going through things or I was going through things. As much shit as your boys give you, they're going to be there. I know who it is. I know it's Tommy Wonderful, the masked Washington Redskins luchador, the masked commander. But yeah, like I said, for as much shit, and I think and And this is the lesson that I've learned the hard way in the last few years. When I was going through my worst shit, and I was going through shit, and I didn't think anybody was there. I had a very good friend of mine that was going through something similar, not as bad as I was, but neither one of us would reach out to the other one because we were too afraid of how we, what the other one would think, or even if the other one would care, or whatever. Because we're guys, we're dudes. We were taught that we don't talk about our feelings. And then we had that conversation shortly after I came home, and we both were kind of simultaneously was like, why didn't you reach out to me? Why didn't you say something? Basically, at the end of the day, men and boys and teenagers, do not be afraid to speak your mind, be vocal, reach out, and don't be we don't have to you don't have to hold it back. You don't have to be quiet at the end of the day. Men have been quiet for way too long. We've held back for way too long. I don't think it makes us any less of a man because we have feelings and we have emotions. Um, yeah, exactly. You know, yeah. Tommy said him and his boys have been busting each other for over 30 years, but they can always still talk about the rough shit. I mean, Tony and I, we've had some pretty deep conversations on the show from time to time. But um, like I said, we've also had conversations, the three of us, outside of the show, behind the scenes and stuff like that. And I'm not saying, men, we've been quiet for too long about, we're going to rise up and revolt type bullshit. Don't twist my words around and say, Glick's leading a macho man revolution and he's bringing back toxic masculinity and going to put all the women back in the kitchen barefooted and pregnant and going to take our rights away from us. He's probably going to grab us by the pussies, because that's not what I'm saying. Just saying, men have been quiet for way too long. It's okay to share our feelings. It's okay to talk about your feelings, whether it be with your boys or with your significant other. If your significant other is worth a damn and is actually wants to be with you, then they're not gonna look down on you because you had a rough day at work and you come home and you want to talk about it, or you got something that's really been building up and weighing on your mind for a couple months, and you finally snap and break down and you want to talk to her or him. It is 2023. If they're really your person or your partner, they're not going to look down on you and make you feel bad for feeling how you feel. If they do, they're not the right one. And at the end of the day, they should go ahead and find their way out the door. And that's okay for you to do that. Because women have been breaking up with dudes for far less for years. Not saying that all dudes are right, because I know there's some scumbag dudes out there too. Trust me. There's some shitty ass fucking dudes out there. But absolutely, don't let it build up. Do not be afraid to talk to somebody like Tommy just said. Don't let it build up. Do not let it build up, man. And I'm specifically talking to men tonight. Not every show is going to be like this. We're going to have some fun topics but I wanted to come out the gate swinging with the heavy hitter. And again, like I said, I'm no expert. I'm no professional. I'm just kind of speaking my mind a little bit. Some of you guys might hear this and go, this guy's fucking retarded. He don't know what the hell he's talking about. And that's fine. You're allowed to feel that way. I am fucking retarded. And I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just speaking my mind. I'm just speaking my mind here. It's not like the only numbers I looked up was the suicide rates in the last couple of years. That's the only factual numbers that I looked up. That men compared to women, it's 4 times. And in all honesty, the highest number in the age group is like the 85 plus, man. They're killing themselves. But we had that discussion on the show too. I'm 80 plus years old and I can't wipe my own ass. I don't have control of my body. My mind ain't right. Please, somebody put me down. There are a lot of cunts, dude. Yeah, right? There are a lot of cunt dudes out there, little fucking scumbags. But you know, please, somebody, if I can't take myself out, if I'm that bad off, I can't take care of myself. I can't wipe my own ass. I can't function. Just somebody take me out, please. I'm giving you permission. when I'm old and I can't take care of myself, wipe me out. Just go ahead and erase me. I had a good fucking run, damn it. I wasn't supposed to live past 18, but I'm at 42 now. If I make it to 85 and I've lost all control of my bodily functions and my mind and my body itself, just erase me. Call Arnold Schwarzenegger and have him erase me. Yes, that's a movie reference. And if you didn't get it, then you might be too young. I don't even know if that was an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. I think it was The Eraser or some shit. Anywho. Start taking care of yourselves, men. It's okay to have a mental health day. It's okay to have a breakdown. Nobody's going to look down on you. Nobody's going to think differently of you. And all you fucking twats that are just doing it for attention, stop it. Because somebody who's having a bad day is going to put a foot in your ass one of these times. My granddaddy, a battle of the bulge bit. Wait, what? What the hell are you talking about, Tommy? Speaking of battle of the bulge, speaking of our soldiers and stuff, y'all don't hesitate to reach out to your veteran friends because this goes male or female, because they're really going through it these days, man. They are really going through it these days. We have that 22 a day, not to mention everything else that's going on with our vets. They won't always come out, but if you approach them and reach out to them, you might get their attention and they might talk to you. And then if it's just as long as they know that somebody's out there and somebody cares, we really got to start taking better care of our vets, because they are in a bad way these days, and I'm telling my kids and grandkids that same exact damn thing. Just do like you do a horse. You go dig the hole, you walk the horse out to the hole, and you put it down. Hopefully it falls into the hole and it doesn't fall the opposite way, because I don't know if you guys ever tried to push or drag a horse into a hole. It's not an easy process. Just walk me out to the hole and tell me to look at the fluffy bunnies and put me down. I don't even care. But yeah, like I said, we definitely do got to start looking out for our vets. I know Tony, who's one of my co-hosts, he's a vet. He's retired, Air Force, Air National Guard, I think. I think that's how you say it. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's how you say it. And he's a big advocate on not only veterans' mental health, but their health and their well-being in general. And like I said, they're not going to come out. Most of them are not going to come out and talk about it. But if you see them, and you can tell people are physically going through shit. I mean, there's physical traits that people show when they're really going through it, and they're not just veterans but people in general, when they're in the fog and they're in the darkness. There's physical traits and there's attributes if you pay attention, and if you actually if you're actually a friend of somebody and you call yourself a friend, you're going to know it and you're going to see it. And sometimes that's all it takes is knowing that somebody is out there who actually cares and takes the time to reach out and says, "Hey, man," or "What's going on? Are you doing okay? How's everything going?" And first I could be like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Everything's good. I'm fine. It's okay. I'll figure it out." Blah blah blah. We all know the lines. Lord knows I've used them. They've been on repeat for years. We'll start coming around more often, brother. And you're gonna have to kind of put some effort into it. If you go, "Hey man, how's it going? How's everything been? How you feeling?" "I'm good, man. I'm good. Everything's fine." "Okay, cool." And then you dip out. Like, just don't be fair weather. Really, really, really check on your friends and see how they're doing. Because, like I said, you're gonna tell if they're, if they're in the fog. That's what I like to call it. I get into the fog before it goes dark. I used to always joke around and kid that I thrived in the darkness, and then when I was in my bad ways, I thrived, and I was at my best. But now I look back on it and I realize, no, I really wasn't. I thought I was, but by no means was I. I was not good in any way, shape, or form. I was a mess. I was not. I was not a good person to be around. Yeah, I'm fine. Everything's all right. I'll figure it out. I wasn't a good person to be around. I wasn't a good dad or anything like that. So, you look back, I look back on it now, and it's like, yeah, I was kind of a monster. I understand why I was alone. I pushed so many people away. Not that anybody was really trying to stick around to begin with, but I pushed so many people away and just wanted to be left to my own devices and left to my own. And call it spade a spade. I was very self destructive, especially when I was younger. Um, as I got older, I was self destructive, but in different ways. Um, I found different avenues and different ways to try to ruin and hurt myself. So, and that's not fun. But to answer your question seriously, Tom, I'm 100%, man. I'm good, man, bro. I'm in an amazing place in my life right now. Um, I've and I think this was another thing that was really good for my mental well being. I, I started unloading people from my life that that were not good for my mental being, like my mental state. um I started unloading them, and some people, probably hurt their feelings, but they weren't good for me. They were toxic, and so I've started feeling better in that aspect. you know um I've got a really good job that I love these days. So that's yeah. Work stress is an absolute pain in the ass. We all know it. When we all have that job that we're not happy with, and it tacks on stress. I love my job. There's no stress with it. The company I work for is amazing. Um, and I'm finally in a good relationship, um, a healthy relationship. Put it that way. So yeah, to answer your question, man, 100%, absolutely, I am good, man. I was a mess, dude. I was an absolute mess back then. And to be 100% honest with you guys, um, I was a mess up until about about a year and a half ago. I was still dealing with a lot of things. I was still struggling with a lot of things. Um, and there was things from the past that was still affecting me. Um, Things in the present that were still eating at me and shit like that. Um, but yeah, around about the last year and a half, I finally, like I said, I started weeding certain people out of my life. Um, I started putting my foot down and standing up for myself for a change, which was a huge difference. I don't let people take advantage of me anymore. And yeah, sometimes that makes me out to be an asshole, but it is what it is. I'll be an asshole all day long. I just reached that breaking point where I needed to start taking care of myself and being able to be a good father for my kids, which I've always, every dad is going to have those doubts in the back of their mind. Am I a good dad? Am I doing what's right? Am I doing what's best? Blah 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 blah. But but no, man, I'm in a good spot. I'm in a happy spot. I'm probably the happiest I've been in a very very long time. Yeah, 5 or 6 years back on Periscope, I was in a very dark place. I was in a very dark world. I was not right by any means. Like I said, I was a bit of a monster back then, but I was able to put on a mask. I was able to put on a show, a performance, so to say, so that from the outside looking in, people are going to go, yeah, he's good. There's nothing wrong with that guy. Now it's real, legit, and honest happiness. And, like I said, I think it's a big difference, especially when it comes to a relationship, when you have a true partner, when you have somebody that is going to be there not only for your good days, but your bad days, and somebody that in all honesty, it matches your energy as well. You see a lot of one-sided relationships these days, and I was in a couple of them, the past couple few years, um, where it was very one-sided. I mean, it's not that hard to match, energies, and to give as much as you take, and not like, and I say that more like emotionally, uh, you know, it should be give and take. I'm not saying like, well, we're gonna split the bills and all that jazz. Um, it's literally, you know, matching them energies, being on the same wavelength, and being able to be yourself in front of somebody. Like I think my girlfriend is, but I'm 100% my true self around her. Um, and we just have fun, man. We just enjoying life. It really is, dude. I had pretty much reached a point. I mean, I had fun back on Periscope. That I won't ever deny. I had a lot of fun on Periscope. I met a lot of really great people. I met people that I'm still friends with to this day. May have not have met them or anything like that, but I'm still friends with them to this day, and they still support our show and what we're doing and everything like that. Um, and I had a lot of fun, but that was my outlet. That was the only place that eh, to be honest, I felt free was when I was on there. But then I would also know that even though I could be doing a lot worse things, I knew I was still going to catch hell the next day. So I just tried to have my one night of the week where I could just be free and have fun and not worry about things. I'll deal with the backlash the following day. But I had fun, man. I had an absolute blast. Um, in the Periscope days. I know Tony kind of busts my balls. Um, yeah, we buzz his balls. He brings up Haps, which was his platform. But he'll break my balls about me and Periscope, and I'm like, yeah, dude, but you gotta understand, Periscope was a different creature than Haps. Um, there was no drama ever in my lives or with people that I associated with. And Haps was full of a lot of drama and a lot of unnecessary bullshit. I mean, to this day, those same people are still having the same goddamn arguments that they were having over a year ago and having the same goofy ass fights. Yes, it was absolutely my escape. 3, 4 hours, 5 hours, however long it was, that was my escape. That was my outlet. That was the only that was that was just freedom, to be honest with you. 100%. Uh I agree. Periscope was way better than Haps ever would have been or could have been. But like I said, I never had any drama on Periscope. I got along with everybody. Everybody was cool. We never had any drama in the live. Like, so, and if there was somebody who came in there acting crazy before I could even get on them, you fucking pit bulls in the chat were all over them. But no, it's hard to find somebody that to find that person and to where you're both happy and you both can just be yourselves and just focus on a future and focus on actually growing together and not you see a lot of these couples they're going through the motions, the dating and the getting engaged and getting married and having kids and blah 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 blah, but there's really no growth between them, or there's no, they have separate growth, but as a partnership there's no growth. And I think that's what it's all about at the end of the day, is finding that right person that you can grow with and you can build a future with, and you both kind of have the same mindset and the same goals, and you mm, and you both just on that same wavelength, and it makes everything so much, it just natural, you know with Nikki and I, everything is just natural and it just flows so perfectly there. Like, I don't feel like, a lot of people say that relationships are hard work, and to a degree I agree with that, to a certain degree. But I also don't agree with that, because relationships shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be, and it's not. Everything is just so natural and fluid between us, and I think that's what kind of people might not admit to it, or they might not understand it. They may not know exactly, but I think that's the key to a really good relationship. It shouldn't be hard. Some things are going to be hard. You're gonna have your financial struggles. You're gonna have your 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 hiccups and stuff like that. That's gonna happen. But on the emotional level and stuff like that, it really shouldn't be that hard. And there's nothing hard. And again, I'm speaking for me personally. Everything is just so natural and just happens. It's not forced. It's not pushed. It's there, and it's great. I seen the recent post. Thank you, Ed. No, thank you. No, we had fun. We have a lot of fun together. We we go on all kinds of random adventures and stuff, and the kids get involved too. We're going camping here in a couple of weeks. For her birthday, I got a cabin for the week. The kids are going. Her youngest son and his girlfriend are going to come out for a couple days. Um, so that'll be fun. I mean, I try to still look sexy. I'm just saying. How are things? How are things with you and Mrs. Wonderful? If you tell me that you guys broke up, I'm just gonna feel like a giant ass. But no, they shouldn't be that hard, man. You should be able to chill out. You should be able to just have either a lazy ass day at home, laying around watching stupid movies or TV shows together, or have a crazy night on the town, which we can do both. We can lay in bed all fucking day and watch TV and be perfectly happy. We sexy, bro. We a couple sexy some bitches. Tommy and Glick, couple seasons of murder. But Jessica. Jesus, Jessica. What the hell? You were really struggling with that. To steal a phrase from Nonsensical Nonsense, words are hard. What's going on, Jess? Mr. and Mrs. Wonderful in the building, ladies and gentlemen. You should check out Nonsensical Nonsense, man. That's I don't know if you've checked it out before, but that's more of the normal fuckery and shit that we used to do on Periscope. But no, like I said, men, ain't nothing wrong with taking care of your mental health and putting your mental health first. There's nothing weak. Doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you a pussy. I'm 6'2", damn near 300 pounds. If me sharing my feelings makes me a pussy, well, then I say, come and say it to my face. And I will gladly show you how much of a pussy this mean old grizzly bear can be. And I think that's the mentality that every man should have. What's going on, Mrs. Wonderful? Miss Wonderful, how you been, stranger danger? And I think that's a mentality every man should have. And if you don't want to have that mentality, find one of your friends that has that mentality that'll say, you think he's a pussy? How about I put my foot in your ass? You leave my sensitive friend alone. Living the dream. Hey, another day in paradise. I understand. I understand. But not a bad first episode, if I do say so myself. I'm actually pretty good by myself if I have a plan and I have an idea of what I want to do and how I'm going to do the show, and not just getting blindsided. I'm good. I'm awesome. As the kids say these days, I'm Gucci. I think they say that. I don't know if they still say that. Maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe they don't. I don't know. They used to say it. If my kids were here, I would ask them. No cap. I'm all Gucci, baby. No cap. You don't know my family, bro. You don't know my life. As we discovered this weekend, that apparently drives my middle daughter absolutely insane. My new thing is big boy life. Living that big boy life. Big boy. Got my big boy chair. Big boy in the building. BBL. Big boy life. Not Brazilian butt lifts. Big boy life. Hashtag BBL. Big boy life. Living that big boy. This fool done created his own ass fucking little whatever those are called. Not a bad first show. Kudos to yourself, Glick. Good job, buddy. Go ahead and let him know one time. The champ is here. As the shirt says, the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only. All right, I did a good job. I will not grow up. I refuse. I am a Toys R Us kid. I took my Toys R Us oath very seriously, just so you know. I am a Toys R Us kid. I don't want to grow up. There's a million toys that I can play with. You just mad. Look at that bling. Look at that bling. Bling, bling. Bling, bling. That's a custom-made belt right there, son. That's a custom-made belt. It's even got my name on it. It's even got my name on it right there. Well, got the glare in it. Yeah, you kind of see it. Bang, bang. I got the backup belt too because I'm a double belted champion. The greatest champion of all time. Bam. We will do a wrestling podcast on the Glick Show one night. We'll talk about some old school ass wrestling, old school wrestlers. I'm a big wrestling fan. We'll do a wrestling podcast one night. Was that the one when they were going to riot if John Cena won? Wrestling. WCW wrestling. But I said I was going to keep this at about an hour and a half. We're at about that hour and a half mark. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed what is the first of many to come. The rebirth of the Glick Show. The reincarnation, if you will. As I said, no, I did not fire Jeff and Tony. As I said in the beginning of the show, nothing's changing with nonsensical nonsense. Well, some things are going to change with nonsensical nonsense, but not a whole lot. That show's still intact. This is just that. I've said multiple times on the show that I would like to create a network and have multiple shows under our umbrella. And this has been asked by a lot of people. When I go live on TikTok, Tony's even brought it up. If I go live on TikTok or social media, friends of mine, people who've been around forever and a day, they say, when are you going to do something on your own again? When are you going to bring the Glick Show back? I've had requests for a one-night vape and chill night. And I kept putting it off because I've already got so much on my plate with nonsensical nonsense. So I kept putting it off and I kept putting it off, but it's really become the number one question with old school friends or old school fans of mine, old school friends of mine. It's really become their number one topic. Their number one question is, when are you going to bring the Glick Show back? When are you going to start doing the show by yourself again? And I said, you know what? I think, and I thought a lot about it. And I talked to Nikki about it, and said I want to bring it back, but I don't want it to be, because I want to be able to put it on Spotify. I want to be able to put it out there so people can listen to it. So it's going to be, different topics when I do the show. Whether we do a wrestling podcast, a wrestling night, I might bring guests up here with me. If I get into a true crime thing, if I get into a paranormal aspect, I have connections and ties to that. If I decide to do a movie thing, there's a couple people I know that do movie stuff. So it's going to be, we're still going to have fun. We're still going to laugh. We're still going to joke. They're not all going to be serious. Tonight was a little bit serious. I'm glad, man. I like having you around. I miss seeing you around, man. I really did. Because I'm still here. I'm still doing what I do. But nonsensical nonsense, it's not going anywhere. We're still going to be live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturday nights, 6 p.m.-ish. We might bump it to 7. Might help with our views and our numbers a little bit if we bump it to a little bit later. But that show's still going to be there. And then I got this, and like I said, I'd like to try to keep this show at right around an hour or so, hour and a half, unless we get into a really good conversation and we end up going long, or if I have a guest on the show and we end up going longer than an hour and a half, or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, this is that first branch. The nonsensical tree is starting to grow. So this is that first branch off. Still going to be on all the nonsensical nonsense social media, and on our Spotify page and all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. And there might be some nights where I just come on here and just randomly just shoot the shit and just hang out. I'm not always going to have a topic. I'm just going to fucking be here. But yeah, I drank last night and I was up until 3 o'clock in the morning, and I had to get up at 6 for work. That was not good. I'm too old to do that 2 nights in a row. But I might, because I got a little bit of time to kill, I might pop onto TikTok. I might pop onto the Facebook Live. Just kind of talk about tonight's show a little bit and hang out a little bit because nobody's home and I got nothing better to do. Have a couple more beers. But with that being said, I do appreciate you guys listening. Everybody who checked out the show tonight and everybody who listens to the replay. If you're not already, and if you didn't know, go ahead and check out Nonsensical Nonsense Podcast on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Don't forget to join us live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturday at 6 p.m. Probably going to shoot for Thursdays around 7 or 8 for the Glick Show, so you can hang out with me there. And if you can't listen to us live and get in the chatter's box and shoot the shit with us, well, you can listen to us on Spotify and everywhere you listen to podcasts all at Nonsensical Nonsense Podcast. And with that being said, we're still going to have music. We got to have music. Duh. So let's do a little Leapfrog Studio and their cover of Holding Out for a Hero. Because, men, I am your hero of your mental health. Not the hero you needed. I'm the hero you got, though. I am your new voice and advocate.
Broccoli Studios.
Yeah, buddy. That's a good way to end the show right there. Well, Leapfrog Studio with their cover of Holding Out for a Hero. Appreciate y'all listening. Appreciate y'all hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed the first episode of the returning rebirth, not returning, the rebirth of the Glick Show. Look forward to seeing you guys next time. Who knows what we're going to talk about next time, but I'm sure we'll have fun. And with that being said, like I always tell you guys, be good. Or be good at it. Goodbye, motherfuckers.